Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome back to Spooky Sleuths. Tonight we are diving into one of our favorite rabbit holes, Reddit ghost stories.
Yes.
You know, the ones that make you question every creak and shadow in your house.
As if I don't already do that enough. We scoured Reddit for some of the creepiest tales out there. We'll read them, share our thoughts, and of course, try to figure out if there's a logical explanation or if it's just pure nightmare fuel.
You ready, Sammy?
Always. Let's get spooky with it.
What the hell? All right.
I'm Sammi.
And I'm Nicole,
and we are Spooky Sleuths.
This one is from Prettiest Corpse 1001. When I was 3 years old, my mother came into my room and told me that she had made spaghetti. We walked into the kitchen and I explained that my friend would like some too. Being 3, she figured it was probably an imaginary friend, so she responded, telling me that her mother would have to make her some. It's a natural response.
Yeah?
The only response I gave her was, her mommy didn't come back to her after she died.
Oh.
This utterly horrified my mother. I bet it did, Prettiest Corpse. But the cherry on top was when she came into my bedroom while I was playing. I was sort of watching the ceiling, but my mom didn't see a bug or anything, so she came in and asked about it, to which I responded, I'm just watching the lady crawling around the ceiling. What? We moved out a month later.
Sometimes you just got to get rid of the kid and start over. I believe that because kids are in tune with that type of stuff. Like when your daughter watches stuff in the corner.
It makes me cringe. Like we were trying to go to bed the other night and I was like, lay down, come on, lay down. And she went, hi. And I was just like, tell him good night. It's time to go to bed. Oh, we got some updates from Prettiest Corpse.
Okay.
She stated she did not remember much from the encounters due to being 3.
Right.
Other than being confused why her mom was freaking out.
That does remind me about growing up in my haunted house. I remember a lot of it though, but it's just scary. All right, our next story comes from Reddit user dash plastic people dash. In the fall of 1986, my girlfriend Chris and I rode on my motorcycle to Ocean Beach in San Francisco around midnight to watch the moon and the ocean.
Oh,
that
how
sounds
cute.
romantic. We stood at the waist-high wall next to the stairs that led down to the beach. About 10 minutes after we arrived, I noticed a man on the shoreline just north of us. Assuming he was surf fishing. I don't know what surf fishing is, but...
Fishing in the surf.
In the surf?
That's what the waves are called. It's called the surf.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever, Malibu Barbie. Assuming he was surf fishing, I said, El Pescador to Chris. A few moments later, he walked along the shoreline until he was directly in front of us. He waded out into the water and dove through a wave as it broke. But after he emerged from the wave, his body was transported back to the shore. He waded back into the water. He waded back into the water and dove through another wave, and the same thing happened. And then again. Chris and I were a little freaked out by this and talked about what we saw. The man then walked along the shore, but as a wave would crest in the water, he would be transported onto the wave as if he was surf walking. And as the wave broke, he would be transported back onto shore. He repeated this a couple more times. I'm sorry, this is a glitch in the Matrix.
Right?
About 10 minutes passed and we didn't see him. When he appeared again, he walked into the middle of the beach and began to spin around as if dancing. His arms began to swirl like ribbons very high into the sky, maybe
what kind of
80 to 100 feet.
What kind of shrooms did this guy eat before going on this midnight walk?
I don't know, man. He very much was resembling the colorful, shimmering texture of the aurora borealis.
I believed him up until the ribbon arms.
It was both spectacular and frightening. For the next 15 minutes or so, we didn't see anything more, and we were about to leave when I saw him again. I said, El Pescador. In that moment, it took 3 giant steps without time passing and was now standing on the beach at the bottom of the stairs, closer to us than my motorcycle.
Oh, no.
Chris looked at me for direction, and I took off running for my bike. Not my bravest moment.
You left your girl?
I would have broke up with you.
How rude. Like, I don't expect you to save me, but at least, like, don't
drag
ditch
me along with you.
Yeah, don't ditch me either.
As I ran, the thing on the beach belted out a loud, shrill scream. I turned towards the scream and noticed someone else in the parking lot standing next to her car with the door open and her headlights facing the beach. I believe she must have seen the aurora borealis part and pulled into the lot.
Or you just were on shrooms. Shrooms.
I got on my bike and felt Chris jump on behind me.
Are you sure
Thank
it was
goodness.
Chris?
As we took off, we had to ride past the stairs. The thing was now sitting on the stairs facing us, and it was 3 times the size it had been. How's that for a ghost story? I don't really know if that's a ghost story.
It gives me, like, flesh pedestrian vibes.
Yeah.
Like, at first I thought it was maybe, like, a residual haunting or a glitch in the Matrix, like
Maybe
you
it's
said.
a Wendigo.
Maybe. I don't know. They didn't really say where they were at, did they? Well, San Francisco. So
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Fine Ad 2083 replied with, "Holy shizness. That's terrifying." So did his arms like stretch into the air? When he was his size times 3, was he shaped like a regular man? When he
Fine Ad, like, needs the deets.
Yes.
We need the details.
When he transported back to shore, could you explain in a tad more detail? I don't really get that part, but wow, what a story. And then the OP, he responded with, "Yes, his arms stretched up high into the sky, but didn't look like arms at that point, just a huge misty cloud of shimmering colors." It really did look exactly like an aurora borealis event. I hear acid does that. When he was 3 times the size on the stairs, he was still shaped like a man. He had previously appeared as a thin man, maybe 6 feet tall, but on the stairs he looked bloated and not thin at all, like a 9-inch bullfrog, a 9-pound bullfrog.
A 9-inch bullfrog.
I remember being afraid to look at his face, and I didn't. It's a little difficult to explain how the transportation appeared. He dove through the front of the wave, and then his head popped up the backside, which left him standing up. But all in one motion, as he emerged from the wave and stood up, he was instantaneously standing on the shore again.
I think of it as like whenever you're rewinding something,
Yeah.
but instead of like actually seeing it rewind, it was just like,
Yeah. Because he was directly in front of us on the shore, this transportation back to the shoreline looked almost like an optical illusion. It was all one motion through the wave and back on shore. I really think this is a glitch in the Matrix type thing. That's my final opinion on it.
like I said, I believed him up until the arms. Like I could totally see that being a glitch or a residual haunting or something to that effect. I'm not discrediting you, buddy. It's just, are you sure we didn't, drop some acid,
Something.
eat some shrooms? Our next spooky tale is from Emil Slot Brun. Some of these Reddit usernames are just ridiculous. I thought my dad was home. I was 17 at the time, and my dad had got a new girlfriend and would sleep at her house often. I've always been a little paranoid when home alone, so I always locked my door when I was in my room. I'd gone to bed and locked my door and was laying in bed watching TikTok. I'd forgot to turn off the hallway light, and through my door, I could see the light, I should say. Then out of nowhere, I heard someone walking up the stairs. My stairs are loud, I should say. I sat up in bed so I could see through the crack on my door and was the most silent I've been in my life and listened.
I should say.
Right? I was waiting for it. It walked very slow up the stairs, but I first thought it was my dad, but it was weird how I didn't hear the front door close. It then walked down the hallway, and I could see as the walking sounds passed my room, I couldn't see the light through the crack of my door anymore, and the light I could see before was gone, all black. When it went into one of the empty rooms beside my room, the light in the hallway returned. It then walked around a bit in the room, and it then walked to my door and didn't press down the handle, but just kind of shook it a little so the door moved.
Yeah.
Ugh. was shiting my pants at this point. And then I heard it walk down the hallway again and not the stairs, and everything just became quiet. No, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me.
You know, been there.
You grew up in a haunted house, though. I would be
but
shiting my pants as well.
Even like at the Bel Air house, we've stayed and we've heard people walking down the hallway.
And I
jiggling the door
shite my
handle.
pants the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
You
It's
and
scarier
Dave-
when you're in there.
Yeah, like you and Dave might have slept. Me and Nat, we did not. We listened the whole night.
Well, that's your first mistake. You don't listen.
Speaking of which, stay tuned to find out where Sammi sleeps tonight or if me and Nat are able to sleep. When asked by various commenters if that was frequent, yeah, if it was, if it occurred often or it was a one-off chance, OP responded with, "It happened only once. Some woman my dad knows I told the story to, and she says she can see ghosts, and she went down in our basement and said there was a man from the late 1800s in a suit that signaled for her to get out. She said he looked very angry."
Okay.
But that's also charlatan's response every time. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't say it was demonic.
If I don't know the medium or the person who can see ghosts, if I don't know them, I take that very lightly.
Yes.
I don't want to discredit them if that is true, but you know, I don't know them. I have to know you before I can put trust in you because I 100% believe in it.
But I also know about the charlatans.
Yes. The next ghost story is from Any Me Addict.
Probably like a spinoff of Anime Addict.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have had a ghost that has followed me around since I was 7. It's been a few years since has really done anything. 2 small things have happened in the past couple of months that could have been him, but I wasn't sure. But I'm currently home alone. My partner is out of town for our nephew's birthday. I had work and couldn't go.
Aw, lame. If I was a partner, I would have found a reason not to go.
I'm chilling in the master bedroom watching TV and saw a shadow move out in the hall. It moved for the direction of the rest of the house to the end of the hallway, which is a closet. We do have cats, but they are contained in certain rooms because we're doing construction stuff in the kitchen, and we don't need them climbing in the cabinets and getting fur on all of our plates and silverware.
Yeah, gross.
We don't have cabinet doors or drawers at the moment, hence the construction.
Makes sense.
I just did a walkthrough to check that cats are all where they should be and are good. They are. And make sure no one
So
else
glad.
broke in. Nope, still alone. I have also locked all the doors. Now I can only assume my ghost is standing in the hall closet, and no, 100% he is for sure still around. Okay, open a closet.
Just knock or play hide and clap.
Burr14N_S told
It's
OP
probably Brian _S.
told OP to go check out the closet. Yes. OP responded with, I did. Hard not to. It doesn't have a door. Again, a lot of house construction going on. I didn't see anything, but that's not new. My first experience with this ghost, he got up behind me and spoke.
Oh.
But when I turned around, I didn't see anything. So yeah, I hear him a lot. And when I see him, he does things like knock things over or move things, but
That's a
I haven't
pretty
seen
strong.
him.
That's a pretty strong spirit.
Yeah. Part of the reason why seeing a shadow freaked me out. Monkey Lou 232 asked OP, what did he say when he spoke? OP responded with, okay, so it doesn't sound scary out of context. Again, I was 7, so let me explain. We had just moved to a new house. I have insomnia and I was really bad when I was younger, so I walked around exploring at night. But because I knew I would get in trouble if my parents found out, first thing I did was check to make sure everyone was asleep. So it happened in the hall, my bedroom door to the right, bathroom to the left.
Okay.
There was like 10 feet of empty hall with no doors. Why does this lady not have doors on anything?
I don't know. That was when you were a kid.
So there's no one I could turn around and not see someone because there was nowhere for them to hide. I was a 7-year-old child and the only person awake in the house, and I heard a grown man growl in my ear and say, I'm gonna get you.
Okay, 7 or not, I would still trip balls.
Yeah.
if I heard something in my ear say, I'm
That
gonna
was
get
my
you.
like man growl. I'm gonna get you.
Okay, I probably wouldn't be too scared of that, but you know what
I'm
I
gonna
mean.
be a scary ghost.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh. I flipped around and no one was there. I freaked out and ran and hid in my bed.
Same.
Like I said, may not sound super scary now, but I was terrified at the time.
I mean, that would be scary,
Yeah.
especially for a 7-year-old.
Yeah. Which makes me really want to hide like a walkie-talkie in your daughter's room. And when I know you're laying her down for bed, just like press the walkie-talkie and go,
Why would you do that to me? Why? What would you achieve by doing such things to me?
Well, your baby monitor would have to be on so that way CJ can pull it up and show me.
All right, moving on. Our next spooky tale. This is from the Great Larisha. Hi, I'm a 24-year-old male.
What? I'm not a 24-year-old male.
I know, but I said it, so I was like, okay, I guess. Hi, I'm a 24-year-old male, and I want to share a strange and unsettling experience that my family and I went through when we lived in a Tier 3 city.
What's a Tier 3 city?
I don't know. There was a woman in our neighborhood who tragically passed away under very mysterious circumstances. After her death, rumors began circulating that her spirit still lingered around her old home. To make things even more chilling, my family moved into the house next door, the very place where she lived.
Oh.
At first, everything seemed fine, but over time, a sense of unease began to settle in. Though we tried to ignore it, the strange energy surrounding the house was hard to shake. The neighborhood was abuzz with rumors that the woman's spirit had returned and was haunting the area.
Oh.
Incident number 1. They've broken it down for us. One evening, my brother and I were walking home, leaving our parents behind. We hurried into the house and locked the door. As we were playing, we suddenly heard a knock. I opened the door, but no one was there. You're a child. Why are you opening the door?
Why are you opening the door, man?
That's like rule number 1 of being a latchkey kid. If somebody knocks on this door, you duck and cover.
Also, if you have a spirit, you just let them in. Just saying. You open the door, they can come in.
Yeah, I know, but
it's welcoming them. Like vampires. Can't they not enter your house without permission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay. This happened several times over the following week, so we just kept letting people in.
All right.
And it always left us unsettled. Incident number 2. From my uncle's window, we had a clear view of the woman's old house. Occasionally, my aunt would experience a strange sensation of paralysis. I'm sorry. Paralysis is not a strange sensation. That is a medical disorder, and she should have been seen.
Yeah.
It wasn't just her. Several members of my family had similar unsettling experiences, always tied to that house. If everyone in your family is having bouts of paralysis, there is a problem. We need to go to the doctor. And I'm not discrediting it. If that's actually occurring, you should still go to the doctor and get that ruled out first. Anyways, incident number 3. I had never experienced sleepwalking until we moved into that house. After settling in, I would wake up in the middle of the night, go to my uncle's room, and knock on his door. Then I'd fall asleep again with no memory of what happened. That gives me like bad vibes. My family was terrified, especially since I didn't even realize I was doing it. Incident number 4.
All right.
This was the most disturbing experience of all. One night, our extended family was gathered all around our house for a party. Since there wasn't enough room inside, several of us we tried to pick them up, but we had no room inside.
What? Is that a baby song?
No, it's Sir Mix-a-Lot Posse on Broadway. That's immediately what I thought of.
Okay. My posse's on Broadway.
Yeah, that one. Okay. Since there wasn't enough room inside, several of us decided to sleep on the terrace. It was peaceful at first, but my uncle couldn't sleep. He kept hearing laughter coming from the stairs. When he looked toward the stairs, he saw something that terrified him, a figure standing there.
I'd be terrified too.
Same. It was the woman's ghost, smiling and laughing. She tried to wake him up.
Wow.
No.
I would nope out of there.
Yep. My uncle, who was very brave, decided to go down the stairs to confront whatever it was. Why? Just roll over.
Brave or dumb?
Roll over. He couldn't see anyone, but he could still hear the laughter. He quickly went to my grandmother and told her about the strange experience. The whole family ended up leaving the terrace and going inside. The next morning, my uncle told everyone what happened, and we were all shocked and uneasy.
Maybe it was just the wind that sounded like laughing. Must have been the wind.
Okay. Incident number 5. The woman had 2 children, 1 son and 1 daughter. Every Sunday, her son would visit the house. That's weird. If
Yeah.
somebody else is living in that house, that makes it weird. Every week,
Yeah,
that's weird.
that is. I would not let them in.
Okay, wait a minute. It gets weirder. He would often sing songs to his late mother and talk to her as if she was still there. The neighbors were always a bit wary of him, thinking he was disturbed, but he was just deeply connected to his mother's memory.
I'm sorry, I would not let him in.
No.
You know, the first time, okay, like if that was your childhood home, your mom just died, okay. But no, not every week.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe that he's not going into the house. He's visiting the house from the outside. I don't think he's like there to
would hope
socialize.
so.
Yeah. It still makes it weird, but I don't think it's
I'd put up a privacy fence.
these incidents truly happened. And if anyone is curious, I could share the address, but I'll leave it up to you to decide whether you want to experience it for yourself.
Don't share your address on Reddit. I know it's your old house, but other people live there probably.
Don't do that. One user did give him some good advice though. There are times when an entity can haunt or roam over an entire neighborhood. We mostly think of spirit activity taking place at a home, a building, a graveyard. This is outdoors, but they seem to stay confined to the graveyard. If a person has a deep love for it or an affinity for the neighborhood, then in death they may be seen around. What separates your experience is the negativity and frightful behavior you are going through. If a spirit was evil in life, then they are also in death. I'm not sure I believe that completely.
Okay.
Like if I had a bad life and was like if I was a horrible person in life and then, came to realize it, maybe I'd be a happy.
I don't think you'd be a ghost if you came to realize it.
Oh, that's true. Maybe on my deathbed, I decided that I was going to be a good person in the afterlife.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. I just didn't like the way it
Yeah.
sounded. Some, like your experience, we would think that these nasty ones would head off into hell. That's not always the case. Why? I would like to tell you, but I cannot. I would suggest having your home cleansed with sage if you know someone who can do that. I do hope your experience with the entity will end soon. And then OP responds with, hey, it's quite a friendly ghost. That woman was killed by her husband's brother.
Oh.
And her body chopped into pieces and placed in every corner of the house. You left out this in
Oh.
the original post? I feel like this was important
Yeah.
context. We love the context. Although she died a horrible death, but never gave any trouble in the neighborhood. She just used to play with them by knocking the doors of every household.
All right. So we just have a serial ghost ding dong ditcher.
I guess.
That's kind of fun though.
I know. I don't hate it.
And we have saved the best for last. Reddit user Danny Treehouse submitted a post titled, "My niece is being haunted by my father." Title's a bit disingenuous, but he's not really my father. Never did the things a father should have done, but he did damage only a father could do.
Oh,
I can relate. Not my dad.
I was like, oh, Clint, he is
Not my
perfect.
dad. So I have to change some names to protect the anonymity of my nieces and nephews, and I need to keep what happened to them vague since people can look things up.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I
we respect
appreciate
it.
We love transparency, but we like protecting the children.
Yeah. So my father died when I was 13 years old. He had lost all parental rights to me and my siblings after he went to prison for trying to kill one of us.
Oh, okay. I can see why you would cut someone off.
Yeah. I formerly was the youngest of 4, but we later discovered that I have one extra older brother and a younger sister.
Oh.
My siblings and I have vastly different feelings on our father. My eldest brother, Derek, who took on most of the physical abuse from my father, used to hate him, but as physically abusive as my father was, he was also a master of manipulation and eventually convinced my brother he had changed and become the father he always wanted, as long as my brother never disagreed with him or said no to him. My older sister
Tried
was
to kill one of y'all. But
probably him.
I was like, what does it matter? Like that's I mean, there's some things you can come back from. I think that's one that you
Yeah.
can't.
My older sister, for some unknown reason, has this strange, almost contrarian love for our father. Like she thinks he's better and smarter than all of us because she forgave him and she held his bad actions against him. And she never held his bad actions against him. My brother Jacob and I both saw our father for who he was, and neither of us grieved when he died. We figured that would have been the end of it until a few months ago. My youngest niece, Harper, is constantly sick. She was a preemie and always seems to get sick throughout the years. So recently, I came over to watch her while my sister attended a parent-teacher conference and my nephew, Jace, was at work. I put Harper to bed and went downstairs for some dinner when I heard a loud screaming from upstairs.
Oh gosh, I would be so scared.
I ran up and found her room messed up and her crying in bed. She kept screaming about the Shaggy Man. I was
And not like Scooby-Doo Shaggy,
No.
I'm sure.
I was able to calm her down a bit, and she explained to me that a shaggy-looking man was constantly staring at her through her window, and he won't go away. Now, I didn't suspect anything paranormal. I thought some pervert was creeping on my
Yeah.
niece. So I cleaned her up and texted Jacob. After I put her back to sleep, Jacob and I looked around the house. Jacob's his brother.
Yeah.
And I looked around the house, and one of his friends looked around outside. No perverts.
I doubt
Thankfully.
After the kids screaming, I'm sure the pervert ran.
Yeah. But eventually Harper started screaming again. And at this time, we were ready. We ran in and saw the window was wide open. And she is screaming and trying to get away from someone we can't see.
Okay, that's horrible.
Jacob picked her up and I got in front and tried to get a look, but I couldn't see anything. After calming her down, Jacob had her describe what the Shaggy Man looked like. And while her description was a bit crude, it sounded familiar to us. I pulled up an old photo and asked her if the man was the Shaggy Man. She confirmed he was and that he's been showing up for months now. We brought her downstairs and let her sleep on the couch, and then when my sister got home, we explained what happened.
Oh, and I'm sure the sister did not take well to it because of her view of him.
We did not get the reaction we were
Yep.
expected. Instead of consoling her daughter, my sister got very annoyed at her and told her that her grandpa was simply looking over her and not to be afraid of him. When she told her that he'd never hurt her is when I had to say something.
Yeah.
The three of us have argued about this. I'm not even sure if this is really a ghost or if my niece forgot about my father and is having nightmares. I'm not sure how to fix this exactly. If it's paranormal, maybe a blessing or some sage. The only response he really got was to put up cameras.
Definitely cameras, just in case it is not paranormal. Because before we jump to paranormal, we always want to attempt to.
Yeah, let's make sure there isn't some man coming
Yes.
into your niece's room.
Now, is she on like a second floor? Like, is there any, you know what I mean? Because they didn't say if it was like a second floor story window that it wouldn't make sense for somebody to be able to open the windows and stuff so easily.
I assume it was, yeah, it's upstairs. He said it was upstairs, so second floor.
So it makes no sense. Okay.
For a pervert.
pervert.
I love that.
And to,
I mean, I don't love that, but I
right.
like pervert.
Yeah, that's, oh. I don't know what else you would do other than that or phone a friend.
We'll come investigate as long as you're local.
And as long as your sister won't hate us, like be mean to us.
Yeah, please don't be mean to us.
We can't do it. But that's a wrap on this episode of Spooky Sleuths. Tonight's Reddit ghost stories had us questioning every shadow, every creak, and honestly, the idea of sleeping with the lights off.
Yeah, I need a nightlight. Whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or somewhere in between, we hope these stories gave you chills and kept you on the edge of your seat.
If you loved tonight's tales, or even if they creeped you out a little too much, do us a favor and show us some love. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Spooky Sleuths Pod, where we're always sharing spooky content and behind-the-scenes fun. And you can also find us on, I already said TikTok. I thought I just said Instagram. Just kidding.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our podcast with your fellow ghost story lovers. Word of mouth is how our spooky community grows. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh, one more thing. Leave us a comment with a ghost emoji if you made it to the end of this episode. We love seeing those pop up. It's like a paranormal high five. And on that note,
Stay spooky, friends.